Hey everybody, I'm Jneen, and this is a tutorial for setting up Ramekin, making SNES music specifically to be used in Super Mario World ROM hacks. So, unlike my other tutorial, this tutorial assumes a couple of things. One, that you're on Windows, and two, that you have never used a command line program before. I think in the last tutorial I did, I said stuff like, use any terminal you want, any text editor you want, etc. But I realized that a lot of people kind of don't have a terminal or a text editor that they want because they don't really know what that is. So this, if that's confusing for you, this tutorial is for you. Okay, so first, Ramekin is a command line program. What does that mean? That means there's not a window that opens to run Ramekin. It is a command that you type into a command prompt. There are a couple of different command prompts you can use. Today, we're going to be setting you up with PowerShell, which is built into Windows, so there's no need to install anything. There's also powerful integration with a program that we're going to be using today called Kate, which is a text editor from the KDE project. It is quite good on Windows, in my opinion. I think it rivals Notepad++ and other Windows text editors. And we're going to set that up for you today. The shell that I actually use, the command line interface that I actually use, is called Bash. This you can also set up on Windows. I am not going to go over that today, but there is a nice, cool website where you can learn all about Bash, ysap.sh. This guy is cool and has his own YouTube channel and a lot of educational tutorials specifically about Bash. But we're not going to be doing that today. We're just going to be using the built-in PowerShell because it'll get you up and running real fast and get you making your ports and being able to write something down and hear it, which I think is the important part. So, I'm going to split this into chapters. First, we're going to install Ramekin itself. I'll show you how to do that. Second, we're going to set up Kate, which is going to be our text editor that we're going to use to make our Ramekin files. Then we're going to set up coloring for Kate. This part is a little bit harder, and it is optional, but I think it is quite good. It gives you nice little syntax coloring, so you can kind of more easily see what you're doing in a large, complex text file. And then I'll show you how to start using Ramekin. So, let's get started. I'm going to open up my little web browser here. By the way, this is on a computer that is 10 years old. Oh my god, get out of here. What are you doing? This is on a computer that is about 10 years old, so things may be slow. So, it's what it is. So, I'm going to put all of these links in the description, but they're actually very Googleable. So, codeberg.org/Jneen/Ramekin. This is the homepage of Ramekin. And this is where you're going to get it from. If you scroll down here past the code, you will see the README. This is the README/tutorial for Ramekin itself. There's a lot of stuff here, but I go over this in the other video. So today, we're just going to talk about setting up. So you're going to go all the way to the top. There's a little releases tab. You're going to grab the latest release, which right now is v1.2.1, but you just grab whatever the latest one here is. And for Windows, you're going to go to this Ramekin installer thing here. Download that. That is an exe. You're going to have to run it, and Windows is going to try and protect you from it. Just go info and run anyway. I do not pay Microsoft to have a developer account, and I do not have signing keys. So you're going to have to trust me on this one. So it's going to run a bunch of stuff. What it's doing right now is downloading samples from SMW Central. And those are going to be used later when we start doing Ramekin. But this is all automatic. You can just kind of watch the text scroll by like the Matrix. Do kids know what the Matrix is now? I don't know. I might be old. Okay, we'll just fast forward this section. All told, this should take around 80 megabytes. These files are for the Super Nintendo, and they are very small. Great. So we're done. Let me get this out of the way of my head here. And it says Ramekin exe installed. Here's where the configuration support files are, etc. And we can just press enter and then close this window. Great. So let's see. That is step 1 from the agenda done. Ramekin's installed. Now, the next question people have is, how do you open Ramekin? If you just want to run Ramekin right now, what you're going to do is hit the Windows key, type PowerShell. There's an app here called Windows PowerShell. Open that up, and you can type Ramekin, and it will show you the help text from Ramekin. You can scroll and read through this if you like, but we're going to do a slightly fancier way of doing this, of running this, using an application called Kate. So let's install Kate. Kate is a text editor. So if we search Kate text editor, I'm going to put this link in the description, but you can find it just by searching. Kate-editor.org. This is where you get it from. Get it. You're going to scroll down here to Windows. I'm not going to do the Microsoft Store one. I'm just going to do the nightly. And I'm going to look for the exe here. Wow. I think all of this should work if you do it from the Microsoft Store as well, but I prefer a setup program. That's just me. Yep. Okay, and this is your very standard setup program. I'm just going to keep all of the defaults here. Yep. Done. And finish. That was easy. Cool. So now, if you want, you can type Windows key and then type Kate. Not whoever that is. Kate, the application. It'll look like this. That's opening. And here's Kate. You see, I've already kind of been using Kate a little bit to test some stuff out, but you can just go new file, and here's a little text file. Kate has this is still plain text. There's no bold, italic, or fonts or anything like that. This is just the characters in a file. But this program has a lot of extra cool features that we're going to work with. So for now, let's close it, though. Because I want to install a Ramekin syntax highlighting mode. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. This is just a thing that allows you to make Ramekin files. And it also works for regular add music files and have them show up in nice, pretty colors, which we will see in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to close Kate for now. I don't care about this file. Great. So we're going to go back to Ramekin. Now, this part is a little bit tricky. If you want to skip this and you don't care about colors, I will put a timestamp, or probably just skip to the next chapter. And I'll see you there. But if you want to have nice, fancy colors, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go over to the code. Code here. You're going to look for Kate. So this is... Oh, my head's in the way, isn't it? Okay. You're going to look for Kate right here. Okay. Inside Kate, there's a file called ramekin.xml. Click on that. It's got a bunch of gnarly XML stuff in it. Don't worry. You're going to click this little download button. Bam. You get a ramekin.xml. We're going to go to our trusty file browser here. We're going to go to our downloads. Ramekin.xml. There it is. We're going to cut. And then we're going to click in the location bar here so that you get kind of a text entry. You're going to delete the whole thing. You're going to type percent and then local app data. All caps. And then another percent. Okay? If you've never done this before, local app data is a place where you can go that has a bunch of configuration for all kinds of programs that you have. Not just Kate. You can actually see it expanded here So I'm in C, users, Jneen, app data, local, right? This will be your username and not Jneen. I'm Jneen. You are probably not Jneen. And so this is where it is. Technically, Windows tries to hide this from you, but this is where all these files are. You notice there is a Kate folder here. There's a couple of Kate configuration things here. Weirdly, though, and this is something I'm a little miffed about, this process is you don't put something in the Kate folder. Instead, you have to make a new folder. So I'm just gonna right click on empty space, new folder, and we're gonna name it very specifically org, like org, dot kde dot syntax dash highlighting. Make sure you spelled that right. Syntax dash highlighting. Okay. Hit enter. So that's a new folder. Go into there. Just double click on it. We're gonna make another new folder here. Called this time just called syntax. Okay. Inside of syntax, and then I'm going to paste. So I've put that ramekin.xml file in this very specific location. Local app data, which is here, org.kde.syntax highlighting with a dash. The dash is important. And then syntax. Ramekin.xml is there. Once you've done that, Kate should be able to just pick up this mode automatically. So if we now, you may have to restart Kate if you had it open as well, but closed it. So now if I go new file, over here where it says normal on the bottom right, click that, and this is all of the highlighting modes that Kate supports. So it supports a lot of different programming languages, many of which I have never heard of, but many of which I have. But it doesn't matter. So under the other section, if you go to R, hopefully this worked. Yeah, there we go, Ramekin. That's the one we just installed. Cool. This is how you know you did it right. As you see Ramekin right here. Now, if you name a file with the extension .rmk, this should automatically get picked up. So I'm actually not going to select Ramekin. This is if you are working on add music K stuff and your file name ends with txt. You can set syntax highlighting like this. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to, this new file that we've created, I'm going to save it. Control S. Make sure this says all files. And I'm going to make a little folder for my ports. And I'm going to put it on my desktop. You can put this wherever you want, though. But I'm going to go new folder, and this my cool Ramekin ports. I tend to not put spaces in file names, but you can name this however you want. It's just a folder. And then we're going to call it my first port.rmk. I really recommend for these ports, don't put spaces in the file name. It will make your life a million times easier. You can use dashes, you can use underscores, you can do anything else. Cool. My first port. Now, I'm not going to go into exactly how to use Ramekin, but we're just going to put in a couple of things. So I'm going to go... Oh, and by the way, if you look down here, it is automatically detected that we are at Ramekin because of the RMK extension. So we're going to go to channel 0. We're going to go SMW piano as an instrument. Notice how that's nice and syntax colored. And we're going to say C4, D4, E4. So that should go ba, ba, ba. I do not have perfect pitch. That probably was not a C. But relatively speaking, that is what we will do. I'm going to save. Now, there is one setting that I want you to make sure you have. So if you go settings, configure Kate, and we look at terminal here. Terminal synchronization mode. I want you to choose either of these two bottom options. Probably the middle one is the automatically synchronized current terminal tab. This is going to be important because we want our terminal to be in the right folder. I'll show you what that means in a second. So once you've done that, you can hit this little terminal button here. And look at that. We have a little terminal here. Now, because we chose that option, you can see this string right here is a file path. Our drive C users Jneen, desktop, my cool Ramekin ports. This is where this file is. And from here, you can just start running Ramekin. Now, this is going to be very similar to the setup I showed before. If the output is too long, you can scroll this just fine. And it'll show you how to run stuff, etc. If I just want to hear this, I'm going to say Ramekin, and then I'm going to type the file name here. So my first port. Now, usually when I'm typing file names into a terminal, I type the beginning of it, and then I hit tab. PowerShell is going to put this // at the beginning here. Don't worry about that. That's fine. And I'm just going to hit enter. There you go. That's your first Ramekin port. Now, you can see there's some controls here. In particular, this Q to quit. So I'm going to hit Q. There we go. And it stopped. And then if I want to do it again, I don't actually have to type it again. I just hit up. And up and down sort of scroll through all of the commands that you've run recently. So if I just hit up, that takes me to the most recent command. I can just play it again. And then I'll hit Q when I'm done. There's a bunch of other options here that you can do. So that was your first Ramekin port. Cool. That's how you can write and very easily preview stuff. Now, if you want to package things, if you want to debug things, all of that is available through different commands on Ramekin. So if I go Ramekin myfirstport.rmk -- package, and I'm going to call this my first port, that's the folder it's going to make. It's going to do that, and then if I go to my file browser, I go desktop, my cool Ramekin ports, look at this, my first port. Wait. This is in the format that SMW Central expects when you submit a port. This is in the format that you can send to somebody to say, hey, here's my port, go ahead and put it in your game. You can see here, this is an add music K compatible TXT file. There's a little README that says you used Ramekin, and here's the original Ramekin source. And an SPC file. I don't have an SPC player set up here, but there it is. For some reason, Windows says it's a PKCS certificate, which is not correct. That is a SNES music file. Cool. You can also use this little terminal window to search for samples. So if I go Ramekin pack search -- search, and let's say I want a sitar. Here you are. Here's all of the different sitars available on SMW Central. And you can just put those in your text file. Let's go Romancing Saga. I'm going to go like that. If you want to copying from a terminal is a little bit complicated because there's a Control-C command. But there, you can either do Control-Shift-C or you can just right-click copy is fine. And then before the first channel, I'm going to do Control-V. And then we're going to say instrument. Again, this is all in the main tutorial. We're going to call it sitar. And we're going to call it, it's going to be sitar.brr. Just like that. So instead of SMW piano here, we can use sitar. Remember to save before you play it. So I'm going to hit up until I just see the command that I want to run. Hit enter. That is the sitar from Romancing Saga 3. Cool. Right. That's where I will leave it for today. Kate has a lot of different configuration options you can do. You can change the colors if you don't like this light theme. There's a bunch of dark themes that you can use, etc. And it's a very, very powerful tool. So, give a look through here. You can also make your own theme, and if you go over here to highlighting text styles, you have these Ramekin styles, so you can color different things in different specific ways. That's if you installed that XML file. But yeah, spend some time getting to know this text editor. It's a very good one. And yeah, if you've got any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. Otherwise, you're also welcome to join my Discord, Jneen.ca/Discord, and I will be happy to help you out. Or if you just want to share some cool stuff you made. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you around. Enjoy.